All right, welcome to another episode of Leave It on the Line. I know it's been a while, and I could apologize for that, but we can only do what we can do. I was just reminiscing. It's almost been a year since we've actually had this guest in front of us. This is probably my favorite thing I've ever done so far with ECO is Leave It on the Line. We get to sit down and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful, the amazing that we have to do and face in our industry. And sometimes we talk about topics that aren't popular, and sometimes we talk about really relative topics and everything in between. And this guest today is one of my dearest friends out here in California. He and I have been bouncing back from each other, supporting each other, helping each other through different things. And I tell you what, I'm so happy to have Carlos on the show tonight. Carlos, the creator and founder of Lost Car Chef Apparel, which I still think is the dopest chef coat ever created.
Thanks, Chef.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty good. How you doing, Echo family?
Yeah. We are we're doing good. I think you're the perfect guest to have back on for the first time. Like since Leave It on the Line kind of took a little sabbatical, if you will. We're starting to get our little YouTube together, and I called you and I was like, hey man, we'd love to do another stuff. Hell, you've called me over the past couple of months, and it's just been really weird.
Just telling you like ideas and stuff.
Yeah. And it just at weird times, like in our industry, you find people that you work with, or you find people that you relate to, and you try to stay in touch as much as possible. But it's so hard because, you got to take care of the family, you got to take care of the job. But I'd have to say some of the most impactful phone calls that I've ever had in a long time have come from you. Just your ideas on what we should be doing and what you were thinking. Hey, I was just thinking about you, and what came through my mind was not only nice to be thought of, but at the same time, it was the thoughts that I was struggling with, like on my own, right? Like, this is what I think we should do. And I don't know if that's right. And should it be more? And then you call me, and it was almost like you validate what was in my head. So I can't thank you enough for the friendship over the years. And it's been really awesome. Cheers. Tonight, we are drinking what has been our liquid death, cheers, my bud. Liquid death is nothing but mountain water. Murder your thirst. It's drinking water from the Austrian Alps.
Who cares? It's a cool can.
It's a cool can. Awesome. It's got a skull on it, and I think it
resembles a beer can.
It does resemble a beer can. Some of these, in a late night, this will definitely murder your thirst. So it's been a year.
Yep.
How you been? What's been going on? How's Lost Car? What's going on?
Lost Car just celebrated our 5-year anniversary on Sunday, July 14th. Really cool. I mean, we were sitting kind of just reminiscing about some of the darker times, but it's part of the story for sure.
I think without the dark times, you can't recognize the good. And, I have this postcard thing that I put on the wall, and it's like a bunch of circles and lines and everything, and then there's an arrow at the corner and it says success, and then there's another one that's a straight line that says success, and on the left side it says what people think success is, and then and on the right side it says what success really is, and it's all it's ups, downs, left and right. I mean,
it is. I mean, the stuff I've gone through building this company, I don't wish on anybody. I mean, going from being married to not being married, going from being healthy to not being healthy, and trying to get back to there, it's definitely taken a toll, but I still get to see my boys more than I have ever.
Yeah.
That's why I did this. I still have a great relationship with everybody that we work with, and then there's times where I'll think of things like I'll call you on, and I'll call other chefs on and be like, hey, dude, I just saw this. I think it would work really well in your location or whatever. Yeah. So it's good. You guys are awesome.
I mean, well, I think it has a lot to do with the people that you associate with. And I've never seen you, I've seen you lose your smile, but never your sparkle. Right. Yeah. Like, you've always had this this attitude, like unstoppable attitude. And your smile is definitely contagious. And, you carry this swagger with you. And I know the last year has been crazy for you, but I don't know of anybody that could have handled it any better. And you've done a great, you're calling me and giving me advice when you got tons of shit going on. Right. You're trying to run your company and keep it going, and like, hey, I got this going, and then you're like, oh, I was thinking about this. I think that shows a lot about your spirit. You're an entrepreneur at heart. And guys, I'm telling you, guys, girls, you guys need to take a moment. If you have not seen the original Leave It on the Line with Carlos, just hit pause real quick, jump back over. It'll be in the mix. And just hearing the story of him going, I got to do this. You want to give a quick brief, jump through?
I listened to that probably a couple weeks ago. And I got inspired listening to the Carlos I was back when we did this about a year ago.
Yeah.
Being able to reminisce about when we first started, it was really cool to hear, wow, some of the stories I was telling you that evening, you don't really think about them every day. So for me to be able to hear them and like, whoa, that's some pretty heavy stuff,
Dude, you went for it, right? And you went for it, and I know when we talk about it, you'll hear it on the old episode, but I learned, look, I know how to cook. I know how to work a kitchen, and I worked really hard on that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I want to start this t-shirt company because I think it'll be cool for chefs. So a couple of us started this t-shirt company, and then we're trying to figure it out. But we still had the steady money coming in, trying to figure it out. Right? There's a
big difference.
There's a huge difference. My road's going to be another 150 miles because I can't dedicate the time. But the risk is much less. But you were like an apron, a chef coat, let's do it. And then you drew it, and then you just okay.
Yeah, I had to just,
you did
that's
it.
That
you woke up that morning and you went for it. And I was saying, I think I sent you a text 4 months ago, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, because Lainey and I watched we were watching either Street Food or Final Table or something. I don't know where it came up. I don't even know if it might have been on Facebook. And I just snapped it on my phone and sent it to you. I was like, what does it feel like when your product is on TV on the regular? Your chef coat is on TV a lot.
I think in the beginning, of course, you're starstruck with yourself and what you've created. It's getting to the point now, not where I'm jaded or, it doesn't it's not a big deal anymore. But because it's always exciting to see. Look at my friends are watching and they're like, oh my God, I know that guy, or my mom or my grandmother or my dad. And I think it gives them some sort of pride that, we're doing it. Yeah. So
you're definitely doing it. And I think you downplay it a little bit. I think our stuff has been on TV maybe twice. Right, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it is. It's not nearly. I see your stuff all the time. There's guys rocking it, and I think the coolest part about it is that you probably really know the chef that's wearing your product.
Right.
It's not like there was a guy that wore one of our performance gear shirts on Hell's Kitchen, right? And somebody sent me something, and we posted it and. About 6 or 8 months, we did tour his restaurant. We did and I sent them a onesie or something. There was an interaction with his wife online, but that would probably be that's a limited interaction,
right?
But I know that the majority of the people that are wearing your coat, you probably have on your Rolodex in your phone. And I just said Rolodex, so I'm dating myself, but they're in your contacts on your phone, where you are the guy.
I just went through my contacts last week, just cleaning it up,
Yeah.
And I was left with 1,400 after I deleted the doubles, and
1,400.
There was about 1,400. And I thought to myself, okay, can I limit it to even more? And then I started going through and okay, well, I don't need this guy's number anymore. I'm probably not going to talk to him. But I would say a good 90% I did not want to delete because I'm still reaching out. There's days where I'll be sitting at the desk and be like, okay, who am I going to call today? And I'll just scroll and be like, oh, let's call him. I haven't talked to this chef. So, hey, chef, how you been? I haven't talked to you, and it's not always about the order. It's just about saying hi and kind of the way that you text me and say, hey, man, how you feeling? How you doing today?
Yeah.
It's just about touching, just about talking.
And I recently, well, I wouldn't say recently, the past 3 or 4 months, I think on my personal level, I've been struggling a little bit, probably maybe 5 months, on what are we doing, right? What are we doing with ECO? How is it, I want to make sure that it's a brand that is positivity, inclusivity, you can't cook forever, right?
Right.
And you got to be building yourself up for something else. And you can attach yourself to being a cook really quickly. And I was struggling with that, right? And then to have people that reach out to you and check on you, or when I check on you, it's like, hey, or how you doing? You know, what's going on with you? I haven't heard from you in a little while, just shooting you a text. And it's so easy, but it's freaking hard to remember to do that. Right. And I know it sounds stupid.
Yeah, but I think good friends understand. You know, if I don't hear from JoJo for a month or two, I don't take it personal. You know, there's times where I will call or text, and I know that you're busy.
Yeah, like a meeting.
And then I know that you know I text you. I know I called you, but you're just, by the time you get in your car, you just want to get home. You know, you don't really want to talk. So by the time you get to it, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'll send you a text, and it'll be like a few days go by, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. Things are good. Sorry, just been busy.
Yeah.
Been, you know, I was doing this, and
I'm trying to get better at that.
Well, I think we all probably should get better, and I think that's something that I hope that when people are listening to this, they're like, wait a minute, I haven't talked to that guy I used to work with or that girl I used to work with in a while. I wonder what they're doing or where they're at. Because I mean, one of my dearest and best friends ever in my life worked with side by side, you know, Matt, what's up, player? Like right there. And he moved back, right? Moved back to Kentucky. Our schedules are so different and busy. Like, and this is like a brother from another mother. We talk every 4 months, 5 months. Like at first it was like every couple of weeks, right? And then it's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Hey, what's going on? Oh, we catch up, and it's the business. Right. You know, it's like, but like you just keep moving, and it's like you know that you could, like, I know that I could pick up the phone and call you at 11:30 at night and be like, yo, dude, I need some help. And you'll be like, where do I need to be? And you could do the same thing with me, and I'd be like, well, who's driving? Do you need me to pick you up, or are we just using your car? And I know Matt would do that, but the communication sometimes makes you, like, the lack of can make you feel a little bit isolated. And I think that's probably one of the tough parts about the business, because about the industry, is that you put a lot into what you're doing to execute, and you neglect yourself, which means you sometimes I'm just too tired. I just need a quiet time. Right. It's so stressful. And sometimes, dude, when you call me or you shoot me a message, it's like, oh, it's Carlos. And then I answer, and I'm like, hey, man, what's been going on? And I'm feeling bad because I haven't talked. But after we get off the phone, I'm feeling that much better. You know, it's that positivity that I think we miss out on. And that's something that's tough. Especially
and sometimes if you call, or, you know, you're reaching out to a friend, it might not always be positive. It might be at that very right moment that somebody just needs to listen or just to talk, you know?
For reals. Yeah. That is the most truest statement, I think.
And everybody knows that, you know, you guys are busy and stuff, and you could hear it in your voice. So I know that when people call me and I look, I'm like, okay, this could be a lengthy conversation, but I'm busy, but I don't want to be disrespectful. So, hello? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just busy working. I'm slammed right now. Okay, like, hopefully it clicks in their brain where, oh, at least he picked up and, you know, giving me I'll call you back later. Okay. Yeah,
but you really do call back. I think that's the coolest thing. I mean, your knowledge of people, not knowledge of people, the depth that you know people inside the business is really, it's wide and deep. It's like, I know a guy in Arizona. Oh, I know the guys in New York. I know the guys in Chicago. Oh, I work with them. They bought a bunch of coats. That's Frank and Jim and Steve. And then, their pastry chef is awesome. And like, it's when you and I start talking about, who's doing a good concept or anything, it's almost like I hit a button, hit play, and you're out the door. Right. You know, you're like, oh no, dude, you got to see this concept. It's one of my favorite concepts ever in Arizona. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, there's so many different friends that I have that are in different parts of the industry. And it's like, oh, Mexican? Oh, I got to talk to my friend Marco Zapian. You got to check out this new restaurant that just opened up down the street from you. Not really your competitor, but it is somebody that is, you know, could be a formidable, you know, challenger to take your business. You got to come see what they're doing.
Because I think the industry changes so quickly. And
every 2 years.
Yeah,
I think.
for sure.
I think that's a restaurant's good lifespan.
2 years?
Yeah.
And then it's time to...
To either revamp the menu, revamp the ideas that you're doing, trying to keep yourself, creative. But that's what I see. I see restaurants open and then closed. I just talked to a chef today who is one of our bigger accounts. And I was like, hey, man, what's going on with these chef coats? Are you going to order them? He's like, I left. I'm just like, killer job. Country, he's a corporate chef, throughout the country for this big group. And he left. I didn't get into it with him because I felt he would tell me if he wanted to. But I just, wow. I mean, that's what happens. You guys jump. I had, every 2 years, every 2 to 4 years.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to keep yourself relative.
When I, how do I say this? Okay. When I interviewed for the job at Honda Center, I told them during the interview that max I'm going to stay here is 3 years. Max. If I'm here 5 years, it'll be a miracle, but I'll be gone in 3. There's no way you're going to keep me longer than 3. I said, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to build this company for you. We're going to build it. And then I'm going to be gone because I'm going to be on to the next thing that's going to allow me to grow and ... And
you've been there now, what, a little over 5 years?
This is I'm going on my seventh year, 6th year, 7th year. But but I guess there was a lot of changes, right? There's some things that changed, and I did it for a year, without any other chefs, just managed it as the only chef on property. And then I kind of hired some other chefs and started working with them. And then just recently when I took over as the director and the executive chef, it was a different opportunity. Right. So it's not like I'm doing the same thing.
And so, I mean, how do you feel though, being there 7 years? Do you feel tired? Not tired as in physically. I'm sure you do. But I'm saying do you feel like the ways and you don't get out enough to see new cuisine or anything? Do you feel that way?
Yeah. Okay. So what has been happening lately is that I'm struggling with the fact that I'm not so in touch with the food that I was in love with a long time ago. And that really that haunts me a little bit. It does, because I was a really good cook and I was a good chef. I could run a restaurant, and then to pay the bills, I had to add more responsibility and more time. And then I got further and further away from the food. And now there's days where I'm wearing a suit. There's no chef coat, right? There's days I'm wearing a 3-piece suit, a tie, and I'm
fancy.
I'm all fancy. Yeah. And then there's days where it's been a week since I've stepped into the kitchen because I've been in board meetings planning something. And I'm like, and Chef Paul, who's a guy that writes a lot of articles, Harvest America, and we post his stuff on our Facebook page a lot. He wrote this entire article about the difference between a cook and a chef and all this stuff. And then he talks about the executive chef and what they do and the clipboard. I'm a clipboard chef. I was
office chef. Yeah.
But now I struggle with the fact that
you're disconnected.
I feel disconnected. I want to change some recipes and do some stuff. We're going to do it. So I'll go back into it, but I'm so far away from it. So yeah, I struggle. That's
so
tough.
Where's that balance?
I haven't found it. Just recently, I have a subscription to Masterclass, right? Where it's listen to Thomas Keller do something, right? And then I watched the Franklin barbecue guy, and he does a brisket. So we just got back from a vacation, and I came home and I watched it, and I was like, I'm going to do the same brisket. So I was up for 18 hours smoking this brisket, and it was probably the best 18 hours. And then we had just been on vacation. We came home. I hadn't slept any, and it was 4th of July, and I felt alive. Right. I'm a very creative spirit, so I'm always trying to create something, and the food and the kitchens allowed me to do that over the years. And so what I try to do is I cook more at home than I did when I was cooking at work. So there's always these junctions, but it's tough. I think you said it, and you said it not too long ago. It's I had somebody asked you, they go, how do you know you made it? And you're like, you never make it. You just keep going.
It's true. I mean, have things gotten easier? Yes. Are things a little bit more on cruise control? Yes. But have we made it? I think the moment you think that is the moment you start to lose. The moment you could take a deep breath and just kind of step back and let things go, it'll be okay. It'll stay, the ship will stay right for a while, but they'll start to, it will start to flex, and I think that it's just the dedication, the determination that you need to, whether you're a chef or you're running a apparel company, like how bad do you want it?
The tough thing for me is like, well, I don't think it's tough. Like, I used to never watch TV shows, and Gina busted my balls not too long ago about this. I probably have to apologize to chefs that I worked with in the past, because I did an episode on their chefs' assholes, and I'm sure there's plenty of times when I was an ass.
Yeah.
But when I started out, I wanted to be the best, and my definition of being the best was probably getting the most admiration from people in the business. And the way that you did that is if you were, like an emerald, right? Or if you had a show, or, like you got, because the three things would happen. If you had the fame, and then you would have the money. And if I had the money, then I could probably get the fame. And if money means that you could take care of the family.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And as a cook, you can be it'd be great to have a Michelin star, 100%. But how, your bills, you still got to pay your bills, right? And in the world I was coming up, it was such a struggle. I felt like if I was famous and I had a show, or if I wrote a book or something, then that's when I knew I made it. Mm-hmm. And there were so many times when, I shook hands. I did an event with Bobby Flay. And he's like, dude, I saw your video. And this was back in Churchill days. And he's like, hey, you did really good on the video. And I'm like, oh man, am I gonna get it? And I'm like, oh, this is it. Can
I get an audition?
Yeah, can I get an audition? And it's like, and then, I had dinner with Emerald. And I'm like, oh, I'm talking, and, I'm a complete ass, right? Because I just started, running my mouth. Nothing, and I think you have these ideas of what you need to be successful, and it's really not there.
No.
And I finally, I'm freaking turning 45 in less than a month, I think, or in August. And I don't even know when, in a month or so. And I feel more content. Now, the last 6 months has been a roller coaster, and when Lainey was sick, it was a roller coaster, but it's a different mindset. These last 6 months, brother, I tell you what, some of your phone calls, some of my reflections, I feel extremely content with the chef and the businessman that I am.
Well, and the father.
Yeah,
the husband. I get it. I see like what you're saying as far as you have these guys who want to just be on TV, and one thing I have noticed about like social media is, I would say, over maybe 3 years ago, everybody was posting pictures of their food. Mm-hmm. And, they're just really cool, and everybody was like really into it. But that's faded. I see this one guy who used to post always about his food is now posting nothing but pictures of the marijuana he's growing. And it's like, did he give up? Because is he still a chef, or is he just like a farmer now?
Oh, yeah, I mean? No shit. That's true, right?
But I see that happening a lot, where people aren't necessarily not putting their all into it. It's just that I think the normalcy is coming back. And I do see that.
It's not the coolest damn thing in the world. It's starting to become back to what it was, right? Yeah. Where you're like, you have to kind of really like the idea of being a cook. Mm-hmm. And that's where you start. And then you become a chef, which means you're going to run a restaurant with a bunch of crazy cooks, and there's going to be servers and a crazy manager, and you're crazy too. And then you can post it on social media. It still has like this clout to it, but the chances of you locking down a deal probably a lot slimmer, right?
I'm sorry. It just like, I get so frustrated about it sometimes. I think you and I talked about it on the phone, and I was just like, man, people don't get it. Like, we're not doctors. We didn't cure cancer. We're not finding a new way to speed to Mars. Like, we cook food. Not saying that that's not something amazing, because it is. You get that immediate gratification when you plate something and somebody's like, oh my God, I love this. Mm-hmm. You get to go home with the sense of like, man, I had a great day. I really made a lot of people happy. And that's awesome, because, there's a lot of industry and professions that don't get that immediate satisfaction. I said, but it's just, it gets to the point where, come on, guys, like, forget the fame for a minute.
Right. Relax.
and then find where you're happy in life.
What do you think about the dedication and I wouldn't say the dedication. I wouldn't say the dedication for cooking, but like the martyrism for cooking. What's your thought on that?
Well, I just kind of go back to what I was just saying, Oh, I just worked a 14-hour shift. Well, you picked this industry. That's what I used to tell the cooks I used to work with. Well, I have to work 6 days this week? Yes. And I have to wash dishes? Yes. That's the choices we made. So you're either going to suck it down and just eat it and be okay with that, or you're not. And if you're not, and you're going to complain about it, or you want to be that martyr, and I didn't get to see my mom on Mother's Day, there's a million other jobs you can do.
Yeah.
Where you can see your mama on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so please, let's just, it is what it is. It's an awesome profession, great job. I mean, hours are crazy, but we all know that.
Right. You knew that signing up.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like, the last couple of shift drinks, I've been trying to push a little bit more. Like, listen, like, there's this machismo or badassery, and look, I drank that full on, and I still do. Like you gotta commit. But I think anything that you want to excel at and be really, really good at, you have to put in the work. There's nothing that comes easy, and I feel like there's an interesting shift right now. People are wanting to treat a kitchen job as a normal 9 to 5, and like, I think I did something, and there's like a guy posted, well, I work in a Michelin star restaurant. We work 5 days a week. We only work, 10 hours a day or 8 hours. We work 10 hour shifts or whatever. And I have 2 days off. And I'm like, fantastic. But then there's the guy that's like, I punch in at 9 a.m. I don't get off the line until 10:30. I don't take a break. I eat standing over my station. And that's the way it has to be done. That is like two parallel like universes.
Right.
One is like, well, that's not the way it should be, and one was like, you're just a punk.
Yeah, one is like corporate dining, get into work at 6, you're out by 2:30.
Yeah, and the other one's like, I'm a line cook, and this is how it is.
And the other one, you're in the wild, wild west.
Yeah, and like,
they run the same. You can go across the street from one another, and it's a completely different atmosphere.
And the people in the middle that judge the people that do what they do, and I don't find that we're not a very supportive industry of each other either. Like, you can read any of the comments on any of the articles or any of the things that could be controversial that I post on Facebook. People attack each other. I know the internet's rough anyway, but I think as a bunch of chefs, we're kind of like sarcastic and crude anyway. So I think that there's going to be a pull to the right where everybody's going to there's going to be a normalcy, and there's going to be people that are like, well, it doesn't, you don't have to make, it doesn't have to cost the ultimate price. But at the same time, there is a cost. There is a cost to do something that you want to excel at. And if you want to be really good at it, it's not a 9 to 5. I don't think anything you can do is just, and when I say 9 to 5, it's like you put in an 8 hour, like if you're obsessed with it, you're probably going to be amazing at it. And that does lead to that is 100% my personality though. Like I take things to the extreme all the time.
I think that people, when they say, your job defines you, and then people are always like, no, it doesn't. My family does. But when you really want something that bad, it becomes you. The whatever you're doing is you. This is me. I was a chef. I'm not anymore. I am very happy with what we're doing now, but this is me now.
Dude, you should be. You should be really happy with the product you put out, the relationships you have. You don't miss it because you're happy where you are. Do you miss anything about it? Or is it like you get to see other people do it and you're like,
I miss the camaraderie. I do miss that. I do miss the getting slammed on the line and being able to walk off feeling that's pretty incredible. But being able, I did get ill. I'll talk about it a little bit. I found out I had cirrhosis in November. And I was able to I had to take some time off because my body just took a hit.
Right.
And, unfortunately, I'm going to have to be on this donor list pretty soon. But I've learned that, it's like just what's important. And although I'm not getting that same rush of like, oh my God, here, the machine's running and it's not stopping. I get to see my little boys, ride their bikes for the first time, or I get to see my little boys dive in the pool, belly flop in, and I get to laugh, and it's 4:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. So I get that, and the enjoyment and rewards I get off of that, it's completely, it's connected to what I've created and why I wanted to do it. Could I work harder? Yes, I could. Can I work 18 to 24 hours a day? Yes, I can, and I have before.
Right.
But at what point do you set your like a car on cruise control? And instead of
you're getting to your destination in the right amount of time.
You can take your car 100 miles per hour. But it's beautiful outside. So maybe I drop it down to 75. I'm still going over the speed limit, but I drop it down to 75 and I'm good like this. I know I can do more, but that's okay. Running at 75 miles per hour is not killing myself.
Well, it's also enjoying the journey.
Right.
And
because before you know it, that journey is coming to a quick end. And when it does, you can't go back. This is the first time I think in my life that, I believe in God. And I think at this point he was like, man, I gave you enough chances. So many times you were, whether it was as bad as it was, drinking on the job, working around sharp knives, working around heat, driving home, or it was losing my car, getting it repoed a long time ago, and because of the drugs and this and that. I think nothing really bad happened to me. And I think at this point, when I found out that I was sick, I just see and I understand that he just is like, you had it, but you had enough chances. So now you have to live in humility. You have to just slow down because it's going to pass, your time will pass and then you're not going to have that chance to slow down.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in my early days as a chef or as a cook, man, I just remember being totally okay being lost in the system, right? The hours, how long can I work? How much can I do? And how crazy can it be? And
how fast can you to excel to the next level?
Step? Like supervisor, lead cook, and then I can run that. I can do this. I can run that whole and then in a blink of an eye, I was 33. Was I 33? 34? I don't even remember when I was the executive chef at Churchill. And I started cooking at 24. A decade, boom, gone.
Right.
And then from Churchill to here. And then we're 6 years, boom, gone. And you have so much that happens to your family. And I mean, you said it, you're a good dad. I don't know if I'm the best dad. I'm the best dad that I can be at the time in my life, right? And there's this whole morph that you have to go through. For the longest time, I never enjoyed the journey. I only I got to the end destination, took the t-shirt and the hat, whatever it was that you got at the destination, put it in the backpack and headed to the next destination. I didn't enjoy or relish the moment as well as I could. And I know youth is wasted on the young, right? They always say that. But you're right, man. And I think that our industry can push you very far very quickly. And there's plenty of toys in our industry to keep you, inundated or mesmerized, right? And then you come up out of it and you're like, holy shit, what just happened? Was that 4 years I was in that restaurant where 3 years we just spent writing the menu and doing all this stuff, and then we changed it and it was awesome.
Right.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh,
it ended.
Shit. I've got a 7th grader now. When I started here, he was in, 4th grade,
wow.
3rd grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of it happens to all of us.
And I think it's kind of what I think, if you're in line at Disneyland, right, and you got a 2-hour line to get on a ride, and you're saying you have to enjoy the ride to get there. When you get off the ride, you're not thinking about, oh, that was a great 2 hours in line. You're thinking about, that was an awesome ride.
Right.
So you're enjoying your son, your daughter graduating, and you get those little pieces. And hopefully looking back at that point saying, okay, well, I'm a good dad because I got them. I was able to provide for my family. 40, you're going to be 45 and you're running a great, awesome, huge location. I mean, how many people can say that?
Right.
Not many. So you got to at what point do you say, all right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to just look at what I've created. Look what I've done. Pat yourself on the back and then just be like, okay, what's my next step?
Yeah, but I think that's why I love your call so much, right? Because that's my biggest struggle. Like, that's the one thing that I continually like, right? I was talking with somebody and they're like, so you're the chef and you're the director. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And then, when did you do that? Oh, like last year. And then, we go over some of the projects we're working on. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm married. And they're like, oh yeah, you're married. How many kids? You got kids? And I'm like, yeah, we have 4. And they're like, the record scratches. You have 4 kids in California. And I'm like, well, I know a lot of people have 4 kids in California, right? And well, what are their ages? 9 to 18. And then they're like, wow. And then we start talking more, and then I start telling them about ECO, and then they're like, yeah. And then, I filmed some videos. We do YouTube. We put out packages.
Yeah.
And, then I do these podcasts sometimes where it's a long conversation. And then like, when do you sleep? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not like I do them all really super well, and I'm like rolling in the money like Gary Vee, where I got a guy following me, right? But like, my biggest struggle is knowing when to say, hey, you're doing all right, brother. You do, like I'm always, my inner demon, if you will, is one of the demons is like, what's next? Where are you going? What are you going to do? What are you going to conquer? What are you going to conquer? And then, we're doing this huge, we're doing a great music festival coming up, and it's like doing an outside venue for 20,000 people coming in. And I'm so pumped, right? Because that's the old. Right. That's that old 20,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? So I'm like knocking the rust off, and, it's just like, yeah. And getting a call from you in the middle of the week out of nowhere, and I'm like struggling. I'm like, you know what? I'm not that bad off, right? People love our product, and you got some really great friends, and the family's doing well, and Laney's good. Life is good. Gina and you are good. Everything's good.
Everything's good. Chef.
Everything's good.
Everything's good.
But why are you trying to climb the next mountain? Enjoy the good.
I don't say not to climb.
Oh, I think I totally get it.
I think all your listeners should understand. Like, go for what your goal is.
Right.
But there might be a point where in your early 20s you are just shooting for the stars as fast as you can.
Yep.
There is no sleep. There is nothing else other than cooking. There is no family. There is no love life, and if there is, it's chaotic.
Yes.
Right. But you're shooting for the stars. And I if you keep trying to do that, when you hit your 30s, you're going to slow down a little bit. And then when you hit your 40s, if you keep trying to think that you are who you were, right? It's not going to work. I think that, like I said, you stop, you examine, you take a look at your life, and you say, okay, I'm going to get up there, but I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I'm not going to go on such a trajectory.
Yeah, trajectory.
Straight to the moon. I'm just going to go a little slower. But I'm still going to go. I'm still going to get there.
We'll back it off a little bit. And this is, I think, why the way you just said it is perfect. And the thing that you said before that, the cruise control. What I think we need to do as a family or as a group is that we need to figure out, like, okay, when I was in my 20s, or like, we'll use Gina for a great example. She is the fastest driver in the universe, right? She's like, I'm going to get there in 4 hours and 22 minutes. We're only stopping once. Once. And, she's like, and I'm like, hey, we can stop. We both get to the same destination. We have different realities in the drive. That's kind of how you have to start to look at it when you start to have an entire family that depends on you. How are you going to spend time with the kids? Yeah, you want this for your future. You want it. Yes, you want to have several restaurants. You want to have whatever it is, right? You have this goal. Make sure that you don't run out of gas, blow a tire, wreck your car, blow the engine on the trip. Because if you don't get to the destination, everything in between doesn't matter too much, right? And that you are in control of that. So going 75, knowing that you're going to get an extra 15 miles per gallon doing that speed, knowing that the AC's on, it's a beautiful day, and you're still going to get there in your 30s and 40s is how you need to start to look at it, right? Because if you try to sprint like you did when you were 22, you're going to pull a hammy. You're going to blow something.
It's not gonna be good.
It's a marathon,
Right.
right? And I think that you have to be able to balance the marathon. And there's so much. And my biggest struggle is the social media twist, right? Because everybody throws up some bullshit on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're surfing at the time, and it's like, damn, these people look super happy. Look,
It's just a front.
It's like, oh, look where they're going now.
Right.
Look what they're doing now.
I'm not saying everybody's like that. There's some awesome couples.
But like what you'll do is immediate self reflect. I'm like, man, I must not be doing enough if I don't if I'm not in Tokyo or if I'm not in
Bora
Italy.
Bora.
Bora Bora.
Yeah.
And those you can get that on Costco. I looked at it, but it was expensive.
I like that.
We had to settle. Settle. So with the health thing, when did that happen?
It's been over the past 20 years, I should say. I mean, my body only took what it can. And I think I had a seizure in beginning of August last year. And that was
Were you traveling when that happened?
Yeah, I was traveling a lot. I was in St. Louis.
The St. Louis one, because I can distinctly remember the picture of your feet in the hospital.
Yeah.
And you're like, I guess I need to slow down.
I need to slow down a little bit. Yeah, it was just, a lot of things going. There was a lot of things in my life at that point. And then I kind of stopped eating for some reason. My body started rejecting anything salty. Like anything a little salty was like hyper salted.
Wow. Okay.
Even like Gatorade. So I would drink Gatorade and it would taste like seawater. And I didn't understand what was going on. But anything. So think about like In-N-Out or whatever you may be eating. Anything you eat.
Well, not to mention, you're traveling the country selling chef coats to some fly-ass chefs all over the place. And they're like, here, try this. Try that.
I couldn't.
Try this.
I couldn't. I mean, I would try to force myself to. And then it was so difficult to keep the food down a lot of times. Well, in November, that's when I lost probably the most weight in such a short amount of time. And the last week of November is when my stomach just got super like inflated.
Really?
Yeah. And I couldn't breathe. So I remember calling my dad saying, hey, I need you to meet me at the hospital. I'm going to the ER right now. He's like, I'll be right there. And then when I went in, the doctors were like, you have so much liquid in between your stomach and like your abdomen that your liver is not processing anything anymore. It's time to, we had to put you in surgery immediately. So, they did. My dad was my dad and my mom were in the room at that point, and I was just done. I was done. Not lying to everybody because I was living my life. It was what I wanted to do. I wanted to drink, overeat, not overeat, but drink instead of eat. And I did, but at that point I was just done because the look on the guy's face was like, I mean, I had turned completely yellow. I had like the jaundice look on it was horrible. It was horrible. They ended up taking out 14 2-liter bottles of liquid in the course of like 3 days out of my stomach. So once they did, all the pressure was gone. And then they diagnosed me with the cirrhosis.
14 liters?
Mm-hmm.
That had to be so surreal.
It got to the point, I was in the hospital, I think, about 9 to 10 days. And
was this this was here. This wasn't you were in the hospital, what, 2 days in St. Louis?
4 days.
4 days in St. Louis?
Yeah.
And then you came back, and then a month or two later, you were in the hospital again for like a week.
Right.
And
more than a week.
9 days, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, more than a week, 9 days. Yes.
Yeah, but still, dude, that's
for somebody being so active and then going from that to, they had a alarm on the bed because they didn't want me to stand up. And it just, by the time I was able to walk, or okay, guys, okay, you're going to leave tomorrow. They had to get somebody to help me walk. Like, it was so crazy what happened to my body within 2 weeks, how it was just shutting down. I mean, it was bad. It was really horrible that my family had to see that.
Well, you had to live it. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, the family can see it, but you were like,
yeah, but it's always like what you're saying about like social media. You're putting your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And whether how many people really know the real you or what the real demons are in your life? Very few people. So, and I have to, I had friends coming in from all over. I had my family that was flying in from Tucson, Arizona to come and see me. I had just uncles and aunts. And it was so sad
Oh,
because
wow.
I was like, are the doctors telling my parents stuff that they're not telling me?
Oh, mind games.
Yeah. So
Oh
then
my God, the mind games.
yeah, then I ended up getting I call it like my death sentence. They gave me a time frame of how much longer I had to live, and put me on all kinds of meds and a super strict diet. No salt, very little salt, no raw seafood. You're telling me I can't eat sushi anymore? No red meat. Just the diet was a diet not to enjoy food anymore. It was just to fuel my body for the day. And doing what I do, having all these awesome chefs are like, oh, try this. I can't. Going to a sushi bar, I haven't been to one since November.
Oh my goodness.
One of my favorite meals.
Yeah, that was, you loved it.
Yeah, I mean.
I remember we went out, the first big meeting we had, we went to this sushi bar and God damn, where is that place? Out in the middle of nowhere. It's a Rancho Cucamonga or something. It's like way out somewhere.
City of Industry.
And these giant sushi rolls this lady was making.
Killer.
And that
I
was
miss it. We can't even talk about
I'm gonna stop talking about it. I don't mean to. I'm so sorry. But that was like, so November. No more. Bye.
Yeah. And then my body started like just getting used to medication. I started to get used to this new lifestyle, no drinking at all. And then I ended up realizing, like, okay, I have to start talking about these demons, alcoholism, drug abuse. And I had been to rehab already 3 or 4 times up into this point. And nothing really stuck. So I really started taking a good look at who Carlos was and this alcoholism and addiction, right?
Yeah, addiction.
And how strong it is. That even somebody who's told you have 52 weeks to live still dreams about having another drink. I still dreamt about, like, nobody's going to know. The doctors are saying if you have one more drink, you're going to die. And then my personality is like, I wonder. I really wonder.
Yeah, you're
because I have dodged so many crazy things in my life at this point. Can I walk on water? That's how it's feeling. So, I just really came up to get a grasp of everything I didn't want to. I had to really like take a look, step back, look in the mirror and just look at this broken person.
Yeah.
Regardless of how awesome everything else is going, and the facade I'm able to put up. But now I'm just at the point in my life, like I was telling you, and unfortunately I had to get to this point to start feeling like, I'm not kneeling down saying, please let me live another day. I just gave that up. I just told myself, nobody's going to tell me when. Nobody's going to put a time frame on me. When it's time to go, it's time to go. And it could be that for you or anybody. When you're driving home and it's time to go, it's time to go, But I, thankful to say that when my last doctor's appointment, she's like, you're good. What are you doing? I'm drinking a ton of fresh juices every day. I'm doing, pretty much all the stuff you want me to. And she's like, okay, well, you're actually, your liver never can cure itself. You can't.
Okay, so that's a misnomer. Your liver doesn't heal itself.
It can if you have a certain percentage of liver function. You can get a donor liver, so a living donor. So it'd be like my brother, and then they could graft it to my liver, and then it would grow over, and then I would have 100% liver function. But anything below 20%, you can't. So you have to take care of what you have left. So I have about, 5% of liver function. So I have to really take care of what I have left. And that could last me for a while. But if I start, abusing things again and living how I was, it's just a matter of moments. It's me saying, I want to commit suicide. Really, truly. Because I know what the effects are. I know I have 2 little boys that I'm trying to raise.
Right.
I know that, everything I have isn't enough. And I just, I have to take a step back and really learn to relive and learn to understand that I'm okay, and it's worked and I'm happy.
I've never seen you said like, well, I mean, I know you stared death in the face and you've gone through hell and back and you still are in a bit of a journey. And I think, but like we've had some seriously deep conversations and like the story, like some of the stuff that you're sharing is not 100% new to me, but it's definitely new. Mm-hmm. It's newer to me. And I mean, brother, you have done it in a way and that has been very inspiring for me because like everybody finds a bottom. Mm-hmm. It's just when do you find it? And then what's left when you're done?
Right.
And everybody always says, that's not me. That's not going to happen to me. That's not going to, I got it. Mm-hmm. And it's sooner or later, whatever you have to deal with, you're going to deal with. And it's, you can never run from it or something. Mm-hmm. They always said that, right? You can't run from, and I never understood that because I like hate horror movies. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would just run away. I would just like, as soon as I heard, I hate horror movies. As soon as I hear like the door, up, bye. I'm running away. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm the biggest chicken. I'm the biggest chicken. Yeah.
But you have done it in a way that has shown me strength and like a light. And I'm not just talking about like normal struggles. You're dealing. This just your conversations with me. It's like having them with you with your new outlook has been so. I don't want to say new look. Your attitude is inspiring.
I appreciate that.
It is, and I wish more people. And I'm hoping that that this becomes viral, just so they can see. Because it's inspiring to me. And I've seen and done a lot, met a lot of people, but you the way that you've done it, and I wasn't right next to you at all, right? I would check on you and you'd be like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, we'll catch up. And then months later, you're like, okay, so this is what happened the last 2 months. And I'd be like, my jaw is literally on the floor. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, 35 minutes later. And then you wrap it up in the way that you just kind of said, you know what? I'm good. No one's going to define it for me. And I don't know if you can share it, but I want you to try, because there's this one moment where you were going back to the doctor and you had to sit on a bench and you took a moment. Mm-hmm. And that was probably the most impactful story I've heard. It's in the top 5 for me. Really? Of this is when the way I remember is this is when they're like, okay, yeah, you're in trouble. Like it's time for you to go on the list. And then they took you off the list because, oh yeah, there's no more we can do. And you're like, what do you mean I'm off the list? I did what you told me.
Right.
For me, that was like, am I getting it right?
It's kind of. I mean,
go ahead.
I think it was the day that they gave me that, like you got 2 years, maybe 5. If I'm guessing and you have another drink, you'll have 1. Okay. I mean, that's hard to swallow when my mom is standing right next to me. And when I see my mom's tears coming out of her eyes.
Right.
So I remember walking to the car and, you're sitting with that information. Like, what do you do? What do you do? Do you live every day like it's your last? Or are you tired? Or are you not feeling well? And today I just want to take a nap, just because my body just wasn't feeling well. And I was only able to walk, a couple of feet before I just needed to chill. And my mom looked at me and she's like, you just got to think positive. And I wasn't being disrespectful or rude, but I realized at that moment, no, I don't. Like, I will when I'm ready to. When I'm ready to find a reason why I should think positive, then I will. I said, but I'm not ready to feel. I want to cry. I want to go lay down. I just want to be by myself, and I don't want to talk to nobody. And that was that day. And then I told her, I said, Mom, if you're telling me I should be positive, well, being positive is me calling up all the homies. Hey guys, meet me at the bar, because I got something to tell you. And then everybody's showing up, and then me telling them, drinks on me. I blew out my liver first. I beat all you motherfuckers. All you guys that think you could drink hard. I drank harder and now I'm dying. Like, I know what I was doing. So if you want me to be positive about that, I can't right now. I have to understand that I lived a better life than most. I'm so grateful and thankful for my family, for my kids and my business and my good friends. Like, okay, if it's time to go and I got this little time left, well, I'm not going to sit and, be exhausted every day because I'm trying to go to the beach and go to the mountains on the same day. I'm just going to live, and I find a lot of peace and like solitude in that.
Yeah.
I find, I've gone to eat by myself more than I have ever in the past couple months.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm okay with that now. But not that I wasn't before, but I always like to have somebody like, hey, let's go hang out.
Yeah.
And right now I'm okay. Just like hanging out by myself. And, so those were like some real realizations of, I could say to people before, it's not going to ever happen to me. Well, it has, And it's, they said, you're doing good. You could do another 15, 20 years now. Well, it's just a fucking roller coaster. You can't tell somebody this.
Oh my God.
And then it got out. Yeah. I talked to, I've told a couple people, and then it got to one of my competitors. I'm not going to say her name. And she's walking around telling people I died. And it's like, you don't fuck with that. Like, don't put that out there. I'm not dead, But whatever. She wants to play dirty.
Well,
she played dirty.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But so I just I wake up every morning, get dressed, take a shower, make my bed. Things are cool. Gotta go to work. Just got the Harley.
So jealous about the Harley.
I'm just gonna ride with no helmet. Just go.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Splitting lanes.
Yep.
When I heard you tell that story to me on the phone, it was coming to grips. Like, how do you say it? There's so many books I've read. There's so many podcasts I've listened to, and listened to books, thousands of them, probably a couple of thousand books I've listened to, like in my years of working overnights.
Mm-hmm.
I would crush books, like the audiobooks constantly.
Right.
They would just be rolling in the cars. And there's always this moment where the character just became complacent with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a peaceful moment with what was happening, right? The speech from Rocky where he's like, life will kick you in the face and punch you in, and when I heard you tell that, I was like, it was just, I felt after you saying it to me, like he's good. Like I don't know any other way to say it. He's good. He's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in God, and I pray, and God, we prayed a lot over the past couple of years, the last 3 years for sure, just praying about trying to find a way, or, you try to find, and you have been like, okay, well today is a day.
Right.
And I get to live it.
Right. And it's kind of like when you're in high school and you got to take the SATs. How are you going to study for that when you have to try to study for 4 years of stuff that you didn't study for? You either know it or you don't.
Right.
So you go into the SATs and, for me at least,
oh, dude,
I bombed it. Just
you want to see me squirm?
Yeah.
You give me a multiple choice 100 question test
where they all seem like they're the right answer. Right?
Oh, jeez.
So you either know it or you don't. And I think one thing I've realized, and kind of what's given me some peace, is that I can't, for this next year, let's say, I can't change who people are. They're not gonna. I can't change how you think of me. I can't change how people think of me. So hopefully, I've left a good enough, reputation and a ton of friends out there that I don't have to change. Like, this is just who I am. I don't have to go and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for how I treated you, but can we start over? Because we don't have much time.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of wishes that you could start over on certain things, and you
can't start over on life.
You can't. Yesterday is yesterday, and letting go of the past is hard. And I think that's why you're so inspiring me, because I feel like you're like, look, I fucked up, and I know, but you know what? Can't change it.
No.
And I'm going to live my life. And like, the shit that you just told me about, like your competitor, right? Like that would, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you would have been on fire.
Oh yeah.
You would have been like, it would have caused 4 days of being angry, and you would have, called people and been like, that's not true. Now you're like,
who cares?
Who cares what that lady says?
Exactly.
Because it's real recognizes real. You know, and if you all want to be fake and go in your fake little castles and be fake together, go be fake together. Because realistically, you fake. And sooner or later, people are going to find out. And what's scary is even if they don't, deep down, you know you fake.
Yeah.
You know the lies that you're listening to in your own head. And that's the scariest. Because we've all, well, I know I've got my issues, right? You've got your issues. And I know when you're facing them, you wouldn't wish that hell on anybody.
No.
And when you're avoiding them, that's sooner, you know you're avoiding them, right? And you can try to cover it up and do whatever you want to cover it up. Sooner or later, those people that talk all that madness and the same shit that's been said about you, nobody said I was dead yet, but I know that they talk mad shit, right? Because everybody has to talk it to make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I came to peace with that one like probably a few months before, probably even this past year, like especially when Lainey got better during her sickness. It was like we kind of like everything. I was like, we're going to make it the best company in the whole universe. And this is why. And then it was like, she got better. And I was like, you know what? Gina and I are going to build a company together. And if we sell 50 gazillion t-shirts and hats and chefs, then great. If we sell 100 and I know who they are and they like our product, then I sell 100. And I'm going to put my videos out. But if you guys want to talk shit and say that, I literally saw somebody post something when I got a shout out and they're like, you can't wear, that's not a real cook's brand. Real chefs wear this brand. And I was like, damn, bro. The hate is real. And you guys, don't wear it. I'm good. Don't wear it. I've said it on live podcasts. You don't like my shit? Don't wear it.
Right.
Don't buy it. You don't like my message?
Flip
it off.
What do they say about this water?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That marketing, right? I can't believe you would do that. I can't believe. And they're like, well, okay, don't buy it. Don't buy Liquid Death.
Right.
We're going to drink it. Cheers to all the haters. That's all I can say.
Plus, like what you're saying, it's, you got all these people that are, it's not a real cook shirt. Come on. How many people go running without real running shoes? Please.
Exactly. The guy that was wearing the shirt was a celebrity chef. And I was given a shout out. Like not just a celebrity chef, but like a chef, had multiple restaurants like in Vegas, is on TV all the time. And he's like, hey, check out, Extreme Culinary, one of our team, you guys get a discount, Team Tila. And then somebody posted a comment like, real chefs don't wear that. Sorry, the only brand is this. And I was like, damn. Okay. Well, I think that's when I realized that some people, you can cook your whole life, but what our brand's going to be about is becoming more than just a cook. There's a progress. And it's the same thing that you said, like the guy goes saying, how do you know when you made it? And I love this saying, you go, when you stop saying yes, chef, and you say yes, sir, there's a good chance that you're doing all right. Because saying yes, chef, you're working for somebody. Saying yes, sir, you probably changed some things in your life and your family's life. And a cook's hourly wage or salary is not that great.
Not that great.
I know that California is moving to that $15.50 an hour, that minimum wage or $15.25.
Which is, I think, crazy for restaurant owners that are just trying to survive.
Well, they need to. They're going to have to raise their prices. That's what we have to do. Like everybody's going to have to raise their prices. So if you're gonna have to sell the chicken sandwich for more. You're going to have to sell that plate for more, and because everybody else now is going to have more money. If minimum wage is $15.25 and you're a line cook that cooks hamburgers and you're getting $15, how much do you have to pay the sous that knows how to work the grill, the fryer, the pantry, order your food? Remember. And like, oh, wait a minute. The minimum wage is 15. My skill set's got to be at least 24.
I remember when thinking like, man, if I can make $15 an hour, I'm going to be rich.
Dude. I'm going to tell you right now, Gina and I were talking, and I was like, do you remember the days when if I would have got the sous chef job and I would have brought home, I think I said something like $41,000 a year, then we could have paid off all our debt and had cable and went grocery shopping twice a week. And she's like, yeah.
More money, more problems.
41 grand, bro. That's not even $1,000 a week. And I probably would have worked like what, 90 hours, 100 hours to get it.
I saw this restaurant opening up in San Diego, and we're getting all their information. They sent me over by accident one of their yearly budgets.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, we sent that to you. It's supposed to go to another Carlos. Oh, okay, no problem. But I still wanted, well, let me open it. I couldn't believe what they're paying the general manager. It's so like $65,000 for a brand new restaurant that's going to be slammed every day for the first 6 months. Man. I mean, your line cooks that are going to make that overtime they're going to be right next to you.
Yep. I remember those days. Like, right, you're like, if I can just get that OT, I get that OT. I'll just do that all the time. And then it's like, man, if you have to be careful about that OT train though, because eventually you're 34, 37 trying to work OT against a 20-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the OT's not paying the bills, man. You know, like that's
so you're saying the minimum wage increasing plus or overtime, you still think it's going to be a struggle for some?
Yeah, because everything. Sure. Yeah, eventually everything's going to be a struggle because you're going to have to. Everything else is going to catch up. Think about it. If I got to pay the truck driver $15 to drive it or fill the gas, like how much our gas went up a gazillion dollars, like the taxes. I think there'll be a time where everything is affordable. Like where there's going to be everything is going to come up, your hourly wage, and then we're going to spend it. Because typically people that you're so used to making 26, and then all of a sudden, you bring it home 30, you got a little extra money. That like, how good do we manage our money?
Right.
So it's not like it's going to be a landfall or a windfall, if you will. Then the business owners are going to have to charge more for product, and the market's going to have to adjust.
It's so scary though, because if those business owners haven't developed a clientele already that are going to be loyal to them, when they have to say, hey, I got to change the price of that sandwich you've been ordering.
Market doesn't care.
9.
Yeah, market doesn't care.
Right.
Market doesn't care
Same
about
servers,
your feelings.
Same food, but I got to charge you more.
Yep. Same food, but it's not the same food. It costs me twice as much to make it. Do the people think about how much avocados go up. Do they apologize? No. They don't. There's no like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I don't get a call from the avocado farmer that says, hey, I feel really bad, but my avocados are $4 a piece right now. Or like when there's a shortage on iceberg and you're paying an extra $1.50 a pound. Or, there's something that goes wrong in the cattle and like all the beef goes through the roof. When China first started buying beef and it shot through the roof, the cattlemen weren't like, hey, we feel real bad about that.
Yeah.
So there's a point where you're going to have to, if you have a relationship, and this is probably really dicey and I'll get beat up for this, there has to be, like, everybody wants to be a foodie and be educated, and they all want to put out their Yelp reviews. But you gotta, at some point, if you believe in the product, you're going to have to pay for it. A lot, and everybody shits on the millennials, right? The millennials they don't work, they don't do this. Right. But if they believe in a product, they'll buy it. Look at our dumbasses. I'm drinking Liquid Death. Like, right? It's marketing, right?
Right.
If we went to the restaurant and you and I are both chefs and we're sitting down and the guy comes out and he's like, either you're going to change what you offer, you're going to start, figuring out what to do with nose and lips, which, nose to tail,
right?
That blew up because everybody was able to make money using the cheaper parts. That's going to, remember when hanger steak was just like a steak that you could get for
$3 a pound?
$3, and then all of a sudden it's like 12, and then you're like, shit. Or skirt steak was this. Like
that's a carne asada. Come on.
Yeah.
You pay $2.50 for it per pound, and now all of a sudden it's...
Is anybody saying that they're sorry that skirt steak? The butcher's not. Butcher's selling it. So like the problem is that I think sometimes us as an industry is like, well, no one's going to pay for it. Well, I have to argue with that because for some reason there's a line out the freaking door at Starbucks to pay $6 or $4.85 for a cafe mocha when you could buy the same coffee at AM PM. And put, you know what I mean? You can buy a black cup of coffee, put some creamer in and some sugar, or like for $2, but you're going to pay $3.50 at Starbucks because you get the cup.
You get the brand.
To get the brand.
Yep.
Did you not market yourself? Did it, like, the market doesn't care. I don't know the answer, but I know that we typically go, well, I'm going to sell the best food I can for the cheapest prices. And we have no idea what we're trying to do with our lives. Like we don't know what the end goal is. Like there's so many of us, and I'm so on a soapbox right now about price and understanding your business, right?
Right.
You have to know how much money your rent is. And there's so many people that come in and are like, okay, how much would you pay for a taco? Oh, I pay $4 for a taco. That's pretty high for just one street taco, $4. And then they go, okay, well, I just opened this taco place in, LA on the corner of, downtown, not downtown, but somewhere where it's like, $37 a square foot. Probably not going to sell. You probably can't afford to sell your tacos for $4.
Right.
I mean, look at Thomas. I mean, he closed down his bakery in LA because the rent was so crazy. He's like, I can't do it. Either you have to find a cheaper place, you have to charge more for it and say it's part of the experience, but we apologize for it. We're like the ones that are like, hey, that hamburger.
Yeah, he got the face.
How much is Five Guys? Five Guys is a great burger. Some people say it's better than In-N-Out out here. They're like, Five Guys is my place. But the last time I went to Five Guys, I was like, damn, we just dropped $72. There's five, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
When we go to In-N-Out, it's as a family, we knock down $52.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's six of it.
We
roll party of six. Man, I hope that our industry comes back from it. I hope that the business managers of the restaurants
are they that good?
Are they good enough to meet? The stock market doesn't apologize for when it crashes.
Restaurants are never going to go away.
No,
they're always going to be there.
I think that the toughest part for what we do is making the consistent and being thoughtful. And that's where it gets a little dicey for me. I don't know if we're going to be able to manage through it, but I know that the industry isn't going anywhere. I know that people are going to fail.
Yeah.
And they've always failed. And every 2 years, it's going to, come back with a new restaurant. There's 3 restaurants for rent down here that I drive by in my town.
Really?
Yeah. I want one of them too. You know what I mean? But it's like, do I want to say yes, chef, or yes, sir? Or have you made it?
Have you made it? Have you created your own schedule at work? I mean,
I don't know if I have my own schedule, but I do, it's nice. It's good. What about you? Good schedule?
Best schedule ever.
It should be that way.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been talking over an hour plus. Anything that you want to add before we?
No, I just, everybody that's listening who's used our product, I appreciate them. I appreciate all the friends I've made and like good friends, the people that I can call or call me and check on me. I appreciate that.
Dude,
so
anything you need, anytime. Best chef coat on the market. Carlos, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks, chef.
I appreciate it.
I enjoy this.
Liquid Death. That's a very trying, right? All right, you guys can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, any of the above. We appreciate you. Please check out Carlos. I will put a link in the description. The best chef coat I've ever worn. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Cheers.